morning, dear students. I am Miss NAVEDA SHAIKH from Brahan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika MCGM virtual class. I welcome all my dear students to another and interesting session. In today's session, we'll be learning something new and interesting from a science textbook. So let's get started.
Good morning, dear students. I am Mrs. NAVEDA SHAIKH from MCGM virtual class. I welcome all my dear students to another and interesting session. In today's class, we'll be learning a very interesting chapter from your science textbook, that is chapter number 13, Changes. Changes in that are physical and chemical. Changes around us. In our daily life, we come across several changes. Example, dissolving sugar in water, formation of curd from milk. Here in this picture, you can see formation of curd from milk. Now, milk is a very different product and curd is very different from milk. But there are certain changes from which milk turns into curd. Alright. Cooking of food. When the food is cooked in your house, you have rice which is raw. Kacha jo chawal hota hai, when you add water, salt and if you heat it, it starts to cook and you have altogether a different item which has been formed. ठीक है, जो स्टार्टिंग में प्रोडक्ट था और जो एंड में जो हम लोगों को मिलता है पका हुआ जो चावल होता है, उसका टेक्सचर, उसका टेस्ट, इट इज़ वेरी डिफरेंट, राइट? So after cooking, the things become different. You get a different product. Cutting of a piece of paper, stretching a rubber band, melting of ice, melting of wax, boiling of water, rusting of iron, burning of candle, burning of wood, burning of coal. These are just simple examples that we have taken that you must have seen in your day-to-day life. I think most of the things that I have taken here, you have noticed it. ठीक है, बर्फ़ का पिघलना या melting of wax when you lit the candle, और जंग लग जाती कोई चीज़ को तो हम लोग ने वो भी देखे हैं. बर्निंग ऑफ कैंडल और बर्निंग ऑफ वुड, जब कुछ चीज़ लकड़ी जलाई जाती है तो लकड़ी जलने के बाद क्या बच जाता है. ऑल दीज चेंजेस यू हैव सीन इन योर डे टू डे लाइफ. These changes that you see in your day-to-day life are classified mainly into two types, that are physical changes and chemical changes. Now, physical changes is a change in which no new substance is formed, and chemical change is a change in which new substances are formed. Alright, so in the first line that you see, that is stretching of the rubber band or cutting the paper, melting of ice, boiling of water, these all things, there are no new products which are formed. No new substance is being formed here. So these are all physical changes. Whereas if you see curd, burning of wood, rusting of iron, cooking food, these are all examples where you have a new substance formed after the change. So these are said to be chemical changes. Okay, we'll be learning about them in detail in our coming slides. Okay, so let's continue ahead. Now let us answer a few questions. What are the causes of the changes occurring in our surrounding? Now there are so many things that are there around us. Okay, you have different seasons के वजह से different processes होते रहते हैं. Like if you talk about the rainy season, then during summer season what happens, the water tends to evaporate because of heating, alright, and then it forms cloud because of condensation and then it tends to rain. So because of the climatic condition also, there are different changes which are occurring in the surrounding. So natural changes, then man-made changes. What is meant by man-made changes? Certain changes which are in control of us, okay, man. Those are called as man-made changes. Like burning of wood, cutting or chopping anything. So there is change which is happening because of our efforts. ठीक है, नेचुरल चेंजेस के अंदर हमारा कोई एफर्ट नहीं होता है, जो नेचुरली अकर होता है दैट ऑल थिंग्स आर कमिंग अंडर नेचुरल चेंजेस. लाइक अर्थक्वेक है, सीजनल चेंजेस है, विंड है, वाटर है. ओके, सो दोज आर नेचुरल चेंजेस विच लीड टू नेचुरल चेंजेस. व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट मैन मेड चेंजेस, जो हमसे बनी हुई होती है, लाइक आई सेड एग्जांपल्स आर बर्निंग ऑफ वुड और कुकिंग फूड. दीज आर ऑल एग्जांपल्स ऑफ मैन मेड चेंजेस. Okay, We have previously studied some examples of changes. Changes like the ripening of a fruit, spoiling of milk, which occurs naturally. Okay, here you can see ripening of fruit. These are cherries. You can see how they are green in color and how they are turning red and also bigger in size. Now these cherries are not going to turn green again. Okay, they've become red, and then this process means this is a new substance which has been formed. So another example is spoiling of milk. You must have seen, if the milk, if it is not boiled or if it is not kept in the refrigerator, it might turn bad. Okay, it gets spoiled. These are called natural changes. You can think of few more examples and answer them in the comment section below. Alright, here these are two examples that we have taken so that it becomes very simple and clear. Naturally occurring things, right? ये जो हम लोग इससे नहीं ख़राब कर रहे हैं, ये नेचुरली, या तो फिर if the heat might be more, or because of microbes which were present in the milk, because of that also it could lead to spoilage of milk. And ripening of the fruits is altogether because of nature only. So these are examples of natural changes. Ripening of fruits में हमारा कोई हाथ नहीं होता है, the tree is doing that part. Okay, so it is a natural change. When you are sharpening a pencil or baking bread or cooking food, here you can see this lady is cooking food which are useful to us. Okay, now these are all man-made things, right? हम लोग cooking कर रहे हैं, these are not natural things. Or baking bread or sharpening the pencil, these are all useful to us and these are therefore called useful changes, right? जो चीज़ें हम लोगों को फ़ायदा पहुंचाती है, those are called as useful changes. You can give any examples. Okay, so not only cooking food or baking or sharpening, there are many changes which are useful to us, so you can add them as well. The changes that are not useful for, or changes that do not are harming us, are called harmful changes. Now say for example, if there is any war going on because of man-made circumstances, or because of that there are changes occurring, people die that cannot be recovered. Okay, people are attacking with atom bombs, and that is also a harmful thing. So harmful changes, that way it could be used as harmful changes. Okay, so useful changes you've understood, harmful changes you've understood. Very simple one, ये तो बहुत बड़ी बात है, wars and all, but very simple thing is spoilage of food. अगर खाना ख़राब हो जाता है, जल जाता है, or if you add something which is spoiling the entire taste of the food, that is also coming under harmful changes. The duration of the bursting of a balloon is far shorter than that of the ripening of a fruit. Changes that take place in a short period of time are called fast or quick reaction or changes. Here you can see in this picture, this girl is bursting the balloon. It is a very quick change that is happening. पहले balloon था, उसे needle से burst किया गया, so there is a change, right, in the balloon, and that is happening very fast and quickly in a short span of time. So it is a fast or a quick change. Whereas if you see this ripening of the fruit, it is taking a long period of time. So changes that take place over a long period of time are called slow changes. Here you can see the fruits are ripening and it is taking a very long time for that. Okay, it doesn't happen quickly like bursting of balloon. So these are taking a longer period of time to ripen. So this type of change is called as slow changes. You can add up two more examples, fast change and slow change. How there are different changes that are happening in the surrounding. Which one are fast changes, which one are slow changes. You can write that down also. Melting some wax and obtaining the original solid wax again is something that we can do repeatedly. The changes that can occur in a forward and reverse direction again and again are called reversible changes. Now here you can see that there is a ice cream candy, or a chocolate. There are two examples. Now once if I heat them, it will melt. Okay, गर्म करने की ज़रूरत नहीं, अगर हम लोग इसे नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर पे भी रख देंगे तो it will melt. But after melting it will form the juice of the same ice cream. अगर मैं इसे फिर से cool करूँगी, again if I'll cool it or freeze it, it will turn into a chocolate slab or the juice will turn into a popsicle. Right? So these type of changes are called as reversible changes. जहाँ पर अगर कोई भी हम लोग के अंदर change हो रहा है, like in the physical change, this popsicle when it melts on heating, it will convert into a liquid, that is the juice. This juice again when it is cooled, it will form a solid candy. So this is a reversible change. A ripe mango never, however, cannot be transformed back into a raw mango. Wood cannot be obtained from the ash formed on burning the wood. Now here you can see that when you're cooking the food, when you break the egg and if you heat it, what will happen? Can you get the egg back? जो रॉ एग था वो वापस मिलेगा नहीं, वो पूरी तरीके से एक नई चीज़ बन गई है. ठीक है. सेम वे इफ़ यू आर बर्निंग द वुड ऑल्सो, ये जो वुड है, लकड़ी है, आफ्टर इट बर्न्स इट विल टर्न इनटू ऐश, राख बन जाती है. सो these are called as irreversible changes. Understood the difference between reversible change and irreversible changes? On considering the above examples, we find that some changes occur again and again after a definite interval of time. Like the clock, हमारे घर में जो घड़ी है, in that the time is coming like after every 12 hours it will be 12 again, right? So that way you have phases of the moon also, day and night, they are fixed at a particular time. So these changes which occur again and again after a definite interval of time, like in 24 hours you have day and night. ठीक है. अर्थ का revolution, rotation, these are all very much responsible for the change in day and night also, and for the seasonal changes as well. So this is happening over a fixed period of time, right? Such changes are called as periodic changes. ये जो changes हो रहे हैं इसे हम लोग कहते हैं periodic changes. On the other hand, it cannot be said for sure when certain changes will reoccur after one occurrence, like earthquake or volcanic eruption, landslide, accident. Even if they recur, the time interval is not fixed. Such changes are called non-periodic changes. Periodic changes समझ में आ गया? It has a fixed period of time, fixed interval, definite interval of time, and that is why it is called as periodic changes. Whereas certain countries experience earthquake or वॉल्केनिक इरप्शन, तो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि हर जगह पर वही सिटी में वही अर्थक्वेक आए, वही फ्रिक्वेंसी का है, वही उतना ही नुकसान करे. It every time it depends upon the situation. Okay, so it can never be the same. So such type of changes are called as non-periodic changes. Understood? Now what is the difference between periodic change and non-periodic change? First, periodic changes occur at regular intervals, whereas non-periodic changes do not occur at regular intervals. Periodic changes can be predicted, example weather. Non-periodic changes cannot be predicted, example is earthquake. Okay, so with this differentiation, I hope periodic changes and non-periodic changes are clear to all my students. Let's move ahead. Which of the changes shown in the picture alongside are temporary? Okay, so here I have 4 pictures along with me. First is a raw mango which ripens and becomes a mango. Then you have a bird, a flower which blooms into a rose. Then you have iron filings and paper bits mixed along, and if I use a bar magnet, the iron filings can be removed easily, separated from the paper bits. Then you have ice cubes which are on melting forms water. Okay, so out of these examples, which of the changes shown in the picture alongside are temporary? Temporary changes के अंदर आते हैं. First example is iron पिन्स और आयरन फाइलिंग्स अलॉन्ग विद बिट्स ऑफ पेपर। अगर हम लोग इसे फिर से मिक्स कर देंगे तो ये फिर से हम लोग इसे इजीली सेपरेट कर सकते हैं, है ना। ये प्रोसेस बार बार हो सकता है, सो इट इज़ टेम्पररी। बट कैन दिस रॉ बनाना व्हेन इट राइपन्स, अगेन इसे हम लोग रॉ कर सकते हैं? नहीं, इट इज़ अ परमानेंट चेंज दैट हैज़ अकर्ड। सेम वे ये जो कली होती है फ्लावर की, बर्ड होता है जो, इफ़ इट ब्लूम्स, क्या ये वापस से बर्ड बन सकता है? ये फ्लावर जो रोज़ है, अगेन इट कैन फॉर्म द बर्ड? नो। सो this is also not temporary, whereas ice turning into water is a temporary change, because once you again freeze the water it will turn into ice. Which of the changes are permanent? So out of these four, option number one, that is the raw mango turning into a ripened mango, it is a permanent change because इसे हम लोग बदल नहीं सकते. Same way, another example, that is a bird of the rose flower turning into a flower. This is also a permanent change. In which of the following changes did the original matter undergo a change? जो original matter है वो change हो गया है, ठीक है। तो कौन से वो examples है? Example 1, that is of the mango and of the rose. जो main substance था, जो original matter था, वो change हो गया. It has undergone a change. Next, in which did the original matter remain unchanged? जो third example और fourth था, that is iron के pins, वो वैसे ही रहे, it will not change, it has not changed. Same way ice physically change हुआ है, but actually it is like that only. When it will freeze, it will change back. In which of the changes was a new substance with a new property formed? ये चारों एग्जाम्पल्स में से कौन सा ऐसा एग्जाम्पल है जिसमें एक न्यू सब्सटेंस बना न्यू प्रॉपर्टीज़ के साथ? सो आंसर वुड बी फर्स्ट वन, जहाँ पर जो रॉ मैंगो था उसका टेस्ट, उसका टेक्सचर, उसका कलर, उसकी स्मेल, एवरीथिंग हैज़ चेंज्ड, okay, into a new property. If you smell a raw mango and if you smell a ripened mango, you will find extreme difference between the two, right? हमारे पास अगर दोनों मैंगोज होंगे, एक कच्चा और एक पक्का, you can easily see that it is a new property which has been formed and it has many changes as compared to the original product. Now here you can see melting of the chocolate or melting of the ice. The matter changes from a form but not chemical identity. Here in some of the above examples of changes, the properties of the original substances remain the same. That is, their composition remains unchanged. No new substance is formed. Such a change is called physical change. Okay, like melting of the ice and shredding of the paper, chopping of the wood, melting, boiling, these are all examples of physical changes, जहाँ पर जो substance है उसका सिर्फ physical form change हो रहा है, ठीक है, दिखाई देने में वो change हो रहा है, but कोई नया substance नहीं form कर रहा है. अगर मैं paper cut करूँगी तो वो paper ही रहेगा, it will not convert into food or cheese, right? Same way if you are melting a wax or an ice cream, तो मेल्ट होने के बाद भी वो वही रहेगा, उसका जो जूस रहेगा या जो मेल्टेड फॉर्म रहेगा वो वही रहेगा. It will not form a new substance. Okay, so this is a very simple statement when you learn physical changes, that is, no new substance is formed. Such a change is called a physical change. Here in this picture you can see baking a cake. When you're baking a cake, you require egg, you require flour, you require curd, oil, salt, baking powder, baking soda, cocoa powder. So many different things are required for baking a cake, right? So while baking the cake, all the ingredients, once you mix and if you heat it, it will form a new product, है ना. ये सब कच्ची चीज़ों से हम लोग अगर इसे हीट करेंगे और पकाएंगे तो it will turn into a cake which is altogether a new product, right? सेम वे रस्टिंग ऑफ मेटल, जब कोई चीज़ जंग खा जाती है तो एक नया प्रोडक्ट बन जाता है, उसके ऊपर फॉर्म हो जाता है. देन फोटोसिंथेसिस, कुकिंग ऑफ एग्स, एक्सप्लोडिंग फायरवर्क्स, ऑल दीज थिंग्स जब हो रही है, चेंजेस हो रही है तो न्यू प्रोडक्ट फॉर्म हो रहा है. न्यू सब्सटेंस फॉर्म हो रहा है. So the changes due to which one substance is transformed into another substance having new and different properties is called a chemical change. A chemical reaction forms new product like combustion, burning. When you're burning wood, the wood burns and a new substance is formed, that is the ash. Okay, rotting of the fruits, digestion, rusting, all these examples that you see on the screen come under chemical changes. Chemical changes में simple से एक चीज़ याद रखनी है कि there is a new substance form. The change due to which one substance is transformed into another substance having new and different properties is called a chemical change. The process of formation of vapor from a liquid is called evaporation. We have learned this. Evaporation का मतलब you have learned in the 5th standard. Now when there is too much of sun, okay, and if you put your dry clothes outside, you must have noticed that the clothes they dry very quickly. Now why is it happening? Because the amount of water which is there, it is evaporating. ठीक है? It is forming vapors and it is going into the environment, and that process is called as evaporation. Drying of clothes, then formation of salt from sea water are possible due to evaporation. जो salt water होता है उसे जमा किया जाता है, ठीक है, and because of the high temperature the water tends to evaporate and whatever salt which is there in the water is left behind, and that is how the salt is made. So preparation of salt or formation of salt from seawater and drying of clothes are all possible because of evaporation. Next we have is corrosion. When an iron article rusts, a reddish brown layer forms on it. A greenish layer is seen to form on a copper article. This process is called corrosion of metals. Things become weak due to corrosion. Corrosion is caused by oxygen, moisture, vapor of chemicals in the air. Okay, so this statement is very clear and self-explanatory that what exactly happens to the metals which are kept outside. Okay, there is a greenish layer which is seen on the copper articles or a reddish brown layer over it. This is called as corrosion. Everybody can see in the picture what is happening. जो ऑक्सीजन है वो रिएक्ट करता है और रस्ट फॉर्म करता है, ठीक है, जंग बनाने लगता है, एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड एज कोरोजन. Iron articles are given a thin coat of zinc to prevent corrosion. This is called as galvanization. Now if you see these two pictures, on one side it is there is a normal paint coating, right? On the other side you have galvanization done on this copper and brass article. Okay, so a thin coat of zinc helps in prevention of corrosion. Copper and brass articles are coated with tin. This is called tinning. Okay, in this age of technology, a new process called powder coating has been developed. Coats of various colors are applied on metals like iron and aluminium. They prevent corrosion of the metal. While classifying changes, we take into account only one criterion at a time. However, a number of different criteria can be applied to the same change. Okay, now for example, we have learned about chemical change, slow change, then reversible change, irreversible change, quick change, fast change or slow change. ठीक है, सो दिस कैन बी एप्लीकेबल फॉर एक एग्जाम्पल 3-4 जगह पर यूज हो सकता है, लाइक रस्टिंग ऑफ आयरन. Rusting of iron is a chemical change because a new product is formed. It could be a slow change because it takes longer period of time. जल्दी से नहीं रस्ट फॉर्म होता, ठीक है. It is a harmful change. It is not a useful change. ठीक है, तो हम लोग ने harmful और useful change भी पढ़े हैं. It is a slow change, that also we have explained. Understood? Same way, powder coating. If you're doing powder coating over any metal, तो उससे क्या होता है, rust नहीं पकड़ता, वो जंग नहीं लगता, because एक layer form हो जाता है between that metal and the air which is there, the moisture which is there in the air, so which forms the rust over it. ठीक है. सो पाउडर कोटिंग है, पेंटिंग होती है. यू मस्ट हैव सीन ग्रिल्स आर बीइंग पेंटेड with the silver color paint or this brown color paint, which is helping to avoid rust, formation of rust over it. ठीक है. अगर हम लोग इससे ऊपर कलर नहीं करेंगे, पेंट नहीं करेंगे अच्छी तरीके से, सो इट विल रस्ट. ठीक है, जंग लग जाएगा उसे. Understood? So these type of changes you can write down few more changes for useful changes and harmful changes, slow change, quick change, reversible change, irreversible change, physical change and chemical change. Understood? So I hope with this part of the chapter is quite clear to all my students. I hope the concept of physical changes and chemical changes is also clear. If you still have any doubts and queries, you can ask us in the comment section below. Till then, thank you.
If you like our session, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can share and view the videos that we had today for you. And please do not forget to hit the bell icon so that you remain updated with all the latest videos that we'll be making for our dear students. This session was quite useful to you. In the next coming period, we'll learn something new and interesting. Till then, thank you.